Yo everybody, and welcome to my top 10 games of 2017. Before jumping into the list, I want to give 3 honourable mentions. The first being to Final Fantasy XVII's Stormblood. I didn't get enough free time this year to dedicate towards playing an MMO, so I only got to play a teeny tiny bit of Stormblood, and I know it would be on this list otherwise, but sadly I didn't get the time to play it. Another game that I didn't get enough time to play this year is Nier Automata. From everything I've heard about the game, it's a game that I would probably really like, so just want to mention it here. Eventually I'll get round to playing it. And thirdly is Splatoon 2. While I enjoyed the single player, I never really got into the multiplayer much, and that's where the game really shines, and I'm just not that big of a multiplayer guy, it seems. So those are the honourable mentions. Now let's get down to the top 10 games. At number 10 is the 2 Shantae DLCs, Pirates Queen Quest and Friends to the End. I'm lumping these together because they're essentially the same. And that's the main reason why this game is so down at the bottom of the list. It needed a bit more new levels. While they did do a great job at making it fun to revisit the same levels and go through them again and have them different enough, they still weren't. I wanted new environments, I should say, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved playing Shantae, half genie hero to start with, and I just loved playing as new characters as they were, and seeing how they all played differently and just generally how they interacted with each other, especially with the Friends to the End. And overall I really enjoyed it. At number 9 we have Tokyo Dark, a fun visual novel slash detective point and click game where you play as Ito. The game was really fun and I really enjoyed the story, and I really liked the characters involved. Once again, the reason why it's this far down on the list is I feel like the puzzles could have done with a bit of a boost. I love the fact that you can do multiple solutions to puzzles and whatnot, but it just felt like they needed a bit more beefing up, because the puzzles themselves weren't really much of a challenge. Most of the items were not far from where you needed to use them. The areas were kind of small, and I don't know, I just feel like the puzzle aspect was not what I was hoping for a point and click game, but the visual novel side really helped it up. Still worth checking out just for the story alone and the characters. At number 8 we have Resident Evil 7. Yet another game that I kind of wish the puzzles were just slightly more developed. There was definitely a lot more puzzle focused than I thought it would be, which I loved. However, the biggest drawback with this game is the speed. Like Ethan runs really slowly, and because of that the maps are smaller and the environments are smaller, and everything just seemed a lot more smaller. And the fact that there wasn't really any keys or key doors you needed to go and have and explore, because in the first games your inventory and how many items you had to carry and how many keys you needed to carry, trying to figure out what to carry and what ammo to carry and all, that was a puzzle in itself, which I feel 7 was lacking. However, I really liked the game as a whole. It was a lot more enjoyable than I was expecting. Like when I first heard, oh, Resident Evil's gone first person, I wasn't looking forward to playing Resident Evil 7, but I'm glad I did. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot more like the old games, but in first person. The only two real three-ish downsides is there's the speed Ethan walks at, which makes the whole game seem small. The puzzles, they were good. I liked what they were, but I kind of wish they were just raised a bit more beefy. And the enemies were so boring. There were no interesting enemies whatsoever that made me scared or really go, oh, that seems cool. I mean, zombies, they weren't really interested in terms of, oh, it's just a person, but at least they had different outfits on and they looked visually different, and it was like, oh, this guy, you could clearly tell he was a police officer, then became a zombie. All these were just black goop monsters and they all looked the same. Even the ones that were meant to be different looked the same. So, At number 7 we have Battle Chef Brigade. This game came out of nowhere towards the end of this year, and the artwork and the amount of effort with how this game looks, for one, is amazing. The characters themselves and the writing that goes into them and just how they've designed, that too is just mind-bogglingly entertaining eye candy for everyone. The gameplay as well, I feel like, was something that excels what I expected of it. And overall, I really enjoyed it. The issues, I guess, is once again the amount of content. And by amount of content, I mean there was only four different arenas with slight variations of them, which was fine. They weren't that big, but they didn't need to be that big. I wouldn't have minded seeing more different arenas. I wouldn't have minded having a 4th equipment slot, because I feel like you could definitely make some interesting builds with your equipment that way. And of course I would have loved to have played as some of the other characters, or even have versus mode being a thing, because as the way the game was, you didn't really see your opponent other than at the start and at the finish. It just literally felt like you had there was nothing going on that side other than, oh, we've decided to make X, Y, and Z, and this is our food. Which essentially probably was the case, but they could have done more to hide that. I don't know. Overall, really enjoyable game, and I am definitely looking forward to hopefully seeing a sequel or something similar. At number 6 is a game that has loads of stuff to do. Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game is epic in terms of scope and size and just general, oh my gosh, all the stuff to do. And this game is great. I loved a lot of it. I loved the fact that you had so much freedom to do what you want and play the game generally how you want to. The bow was fun to use. Climbing was fun. Horse riding was fun when you could actually do it, because it's probably just more of how I play that the horses weren't generally useful, because as soon as I get on a horse I'd find I go 10 feet and then it's like, oh, I want to climb this cliff, bye horse. But you know, regardless, it was a great game. My issues with the game, because you might have noticed most of these games I have issues with. The game, however, is this far down the list at number 6 because I feel like, once again, it comes to the puzzle aspect. The shrines were lacking, for a better word. They didn't scratch the itch that comes with a Zelda game in terms of puzzle, dungeons and stuff. And I feel like that was the biggest drawback, because, oh sweet, I found a new shrine, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Get into the shrine. Neat little concept for a puzzle. Okay, did that. Now let's try the harder. Oh wait, no, it's over. There is no harder version of some of these concepts and some of these shrines. And I kind of wish there was. And it also kind of bleeds into another problem I have with the game, is the rewards you get for doing stuff isn't worth it. I'm not talking about getting all the seeds or anything. I'm on about, there aren't really any rewards, or I felt especially towards the end of the game, I knew what I was going to find. I was going to find a shrine, it's going to be this, and then I'm going to get a orb thing. There wasn't that, ooh, what am I going to get? Am I going to get rupees? Am I going to get a piece of hat? Am I going to get something? I'm going to get a super awesome item or something. That bit to me was just not there. And they did have it like towards the start. It's like, oh, I got this piece of armor. Oh, I got this this new sweet weapon or something. But it quickly got to the point where the stuff they were giving me just weren't as good as the stuff I already had. Like, armor wise, I didn't mind because the lot of the armor, the key differences with that is it allowed for different playstyles or different approaches to things. So I like having new armors, but when they rewarded me with a weapon, I was like, oh, cool. I'm probably not going to use this, but I might as well take it with me because I'll end up throwing it to the ground next shrine and get the weapon there. It's a shame, but overall I really enjoyed the game. Exploration is fun. I wonder had I enjoyed it more had I not gone for 100%. Either way, still has one of the best side quests in Zelda game, that of course being Terrytown. At number 5 we have the expansion for XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, and oh boy was this a lot of fun. I really like strategy games and turn-based games where I have to think and plan and execute things, and I love it when things go right. I feel really bad when I make a mistake and things go wrong, and I get angry when RNG screws me over, but you know, it's part of the game and I love it. And this was great. It added a lot of neat new things. The Lost were awesome, the Chosen were awesome, the new abilities and the fact that you can like train, spend points to like learn the other skills, and you can really beef up your soldiers. It was really attached to the characters as I typically get when playing the game, and honestly this probably would have scored higher in the list if the top 4 weren't such big hitters. Good job, War of the Chosen. I am itching to play you again at some point. At number 4 we have Super Mario Odyssey. This game was a lot more than I was expecting it to be, and I mean that in the best kind of way. It was a game that just kept giving you stuff. It's like, oh hey, moon, oh hey, moon, oh hey, new level with more moons and more things to possess and everything, and it was really enjoyable. And there aren't many faults in the game itself. There were enjoyable kingdoms to explore, loads of things to find, and moons just everywhere. It was a game that I didn't mind doing the 100% going off all the moons, and I really enjoyed it. Typically I'm not, Mario as a character I really don't care about, but I connected. I liked this game. The ending was great. Both like the end for the last mission as well was really good. It's like, oh yeah. Generally, I don't have many complaints with this game. There are a couple minor things, and the jump rope challenge for moons that can go to hell. So games number 2 and 3 in this list I struggled with for a long time to determine which order to put them in, and eventually I settled upon number 3 being Sonic Mania. Now Sonic 2 was the first game I ever owned, and I've been a big fan of the classic Sonic games for, well, since I was a kid. Since forever I was born a Sonic fan, even though it wasn't out at that time, but semantics. And Sonic Mania is the game I've wanted for a long time, that I didn't necessarily realize how much I wanted it until I was playing it and going, oh my gosh, this is a thing. The big concern I have with Sonic Mania is something that I felt after playing it, and it's lessened a bit now, but it's still a concern nonetheless, is I worry that this game will be remembered as a nostalgia game rather than a good game by itself, and I think it stands by itself, and I would love to see a Mania 2. I would love to just play more. Some of the acts were a bit lacking in the game, but you get that in any Sonic game. You get that in any of these games that were on this list. There were some areas or some parts of the game that weren't as fun as the others, but overall this game just really did shine and I loved it. And in second place is A Hat in Time. My word, this game is amazing. It makes me feel happy thinking about it, and even after playing it a while ago now, a couple of months back, I still think back at it and still like, yeah, that was awesome game. I just recall fond memories while I played it. The music was great, the characters were great, just the theme and humor were great. This game was great, it was amazing, and for one, it wins the award for most adorable game of the year, so good job, A Hat in Time. And I struggled for a long time whether or not I liked this over Sonic Mania, because they both kindled a similar sensation. I still felt really strongly towards Sonic Mania as I did about Hat in Time, but I ended up making Hat in Time second place over Sonic Mania simply because A Hat in Time is new. It's not relying on an old IP or a nostalgia. Not saying Sonic Mania was relying on nostalgia, but A Hat in Time made me feel so great without that at all. And that just makes it that much more special. And Gears for Breakfast, I am looking forward to whatever you do next. Just take my money right now. And finally, we have my pick for the best game of 2017. No surprise to anyone who knows me or knows my taste in games, but it is of course Persona 5. I'm a big Persona fan, and this game did not disappoint. Amazing music, amazing gameplay, amazing UI. I mean, who speaks about UI design and menus once in a game? But this one makes you want to because it's just so great. The story was great. Everything I love about the other Personas was here. When Persona 5 came out, I had high hopes, and it easily reached them, and in many cases exceeded them, and I love it for it. It's definitely a game that I am looking forward to more, and seeing these characters more, and just basically yes. Funnily enough, Persona 5 was the only game on this list that I have not got a series for yet. But that is my list for this year. Be sure to let me know what you think and what games were your favorite of this year. And if you see a game here that you'd like to check out, I have Let's Played them all with the exception of Persona 5. But yeah, that was my top 10 games of 2017. And with any luck, 2018 will be a fantastic year for games once again. Till next time, everybody. Bye!